Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better, and I'm very happy to introduce our guest today. Having recently departed the hospitality industry due to COVID-19, our favorite friend, and most of the starting point for our guests, where our guest spent many years and was chosen as Hotels Management 30 Under 30, a top rising star in hotel industry. They started a health-focused snack delivery business after being met with the challenge of not only retaining employees, but finding employees who would be a good fit. Our guest wished there was a recruiting tool that followed the path of a dating app, where she could search for an employee who could be a perfect fit. This motivated her to develop an app that allows individuals looking for work to make profiles that show their true personalities and allow employers to come to them. This allows employers to find a better suited employee and employees to find work cultures, they're better aligned with. So please welcome our guest, Catarina Matias. Catarina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
I love this idea of an app where it's dating, so you find that perfect mix. So like we're not stuck in the drudgery of, corporate life. If people want corporate life, of course, they're more than happy to. But this sprang from your need to find a better employee.
It did. So I was still in the hospitality world. And as you said, our favorite friend, COVID-19, really made quite the struggle to find people who not only were motivated to work, but actually had a passion for the industry. As I'm sure you know, there was so much going on of changing industries, this mass resignation, if you will, right? So people were trying out everything and anything because they felt like now was the time. Life is short. And if you don't have a passion for hospitality, you aren't going to make it past a day. And that goes for customer service. That goes for really anything where you're dealing with people. And that's what was happening. So with just that revolving door, I thought, okay, if I can't beat them, then let me join sort of the generational mindset right now of having everything in the palm of your hand. And let's see if we can create some sort of format that can make it that much easier to connect the right people with the right companies.
And so that's how you came up with RecruitMe.
Right. Yep.
So did you always want to be your own boss, or were you going to thinking your life, because you had that top 30 under 30 rising star in the hospitality world? So this was always a dream of yours, or were you like, no, I'm staying in this hospitality world because I love the abuse, if you will?
I assumed I would have stayed in the hospitality world for probably ever. And I like to think that I'm still in that world, because right now what I focus on is bringing hospitality into other industries and helping everyone realize that hospitality really lives everywhere. You're welcoming someone into your business. You're welcoming them into, your space. You spend more time at work than you do at home at times. I know now there's remote work, but still, if you're at home working remotely, then you're literally welcoming into your home. So there's this aspect of hospitality everywhere. So I like to think I'm still working in it, but I always dreamed that I would own my own set of hotels or a bed and breakfast, something along those lines. I was a big Gilmore Girls fan growing up. So between that and J-Lo and the wedding planner kind of mixed together, created this interest for hospitality for me. And then here I am today.
Is it still on the goal? Is that still the goal, to have a B&B Gilmore Girls style?
Yeah, I think, one day on Nantucket, or, somewhere on a nice little island where I can be old and gray and have a beautiful view and work maybe from like 10 to 1. That'd be the goal, maybe.
There you go. That's your retirement plan. That's a great retirement plan.
Yeah.
Still working, but doing what you really want to do, like the end game plan. I love that.
Exactly.
It's nearly along the line of my end game of owning a little farm and just puttering around on a farm. That's my end game. Just a plot of land where I can be the grouchy old man, that's secretly inside of me.
It needs to come out.
That needs to come out. I know that's the end game. He comes out sometimes. But that's that. So you created this RecruitMe, and so you wanted it to be like dating, like I'm guessing Tinder, Cupid, and all that. And do employers create profiles?
So ironically, with this whole dating app mindset, I've never used a dating app. I am very old school. I am, that hopeless romantic that thinks that, everyone's going to meet each other in a coffee shop. So I had no real idea of what was the right setup to meet that. It just was a matchmaking service. And it was the best way to explain it to others that's how it works. Because like you just asked, yes, an employer makes a profile as well. So
Okay.
makes a profile, an employer makes a profile, and then what happens from there is they're both answering 9 questions. Those questions are slightly modified to gear appropriately to which profile, but that will help with the alignment of matching up the right individuals based on weighted for each question and also the amount of questions answered the same. They will be featured on the employer's homepage. So similar to Instagram, on a homepage for an employee, it's going to have tips and tricks, blog posts, different things for them to be mindful of during the recruitment process, but also just lifestyle. So there could be things more geared towards women. There could be things more geared towards men. And then for the employer, that homepage is going to have individuals that meet the criteria for the culture of their business. So the biggest thing for companies to keep in mind is this isn't going to find you immediately the person on paper that you think normally is the best fit for your organization. This is going to find you the employee that isn't going to just be there for a few months. They're likely going to grow into different roles in your organization because they align with the true goal that your organization has. That's really what's flipping the switch as well, because this is really cutting down the stack of getting the right individuals in the door to start the interviewing process, and then they can handle recruitment from there. But it's not going to be, hey, we're looking for this role, and then these are all people. Hey, we're looking for employees for these types of roles, for these sorts of salaries, for these sorts of mindsets. We'll find you employees, and then from there you handle the process as you see fit. A lot of companies think they have a retention problem, and in actuality, they have a hiring problem.
I like that. I like that kind of change because it's not a hiring process because you can hire all the time. A retention problem. Right. It's a hiring problem because they're not finding the people that align with their business. And I like this. You get that weightedness and you can find the employee because you can teach anybody can learn anything.
Absolutely.
If they're passionate enough, like I love podcasting. I learned as much as I could and I'm still learning. And even though it doesn't pay me as like a salary job, it's still something I love to do. And I'll learn everything I can about it. Just like an employee who has the same culture as the company. I love that idea. And it's investing in the employee. And that's how you build loyalty for long term. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Changing the game.
Now,
oh no, you are. Because this is like you said, people say they have a retention problem. You're solving that retention problem by providing a better hiring method. Because everybody can learn, because that's what we did through schooling. We learned how to learn.
Absolutely. And now like ChatGPT out there, AI, there's all these things that can teach someone not only how to answer the online application, but they can prepare them for the interview questions. You can have someone literally reading off of a script and you're not even aware. So you can very much get bamboozled into hiring someone that just may not be a good fit, and no fault of the employee. They may think this job's a good fit and they're going to learn throughout the process, just like you're saying, when in actuality, someone else may be a better fit and they may be a better fit for another role. So it's really trying to change the mindset, especially when they're answering the questions, on getting them to the right job instead of them just focusing on another job ad. How can I position my resume appropriately to get this specific job? Not necessarily doing enough research on the company, because take COVID-19. COVID-19 changed every single organization. And it made them go through something that they've never gone through before. So if you don't align with your company's culture during a change like that and how they handle themselves during something like that, you can very much be shocked by the company that you work for or pleasantly surprised. Yeah. So I'm not saying COVID's going to happen again tomorrow, but there will always be these mass things happening in the world that you really want to make sure you're working for a company that aligns with who you are.
Yeah, no, I like that because you want to invest. Like I understand it. Like when I worked with a company that I enjoyed, I invested. I was willing to go above and beyond what I was paid to do because it was like something I aligned with the company. And when I didn't, it was like I'm going to do the bare minimum that I need to still get paid. And I think like I said previously, like you're solving a problem. My question is, how are you getting into the palms of the people who need these types of programs, like your program? Like, how are you doing that? Like, what are you doing to get out there?
Right.
Apart from being on this podcast.
Yeah, doing podcasts, getting the word out there as organically as we possibly can, but really doing bootstrapping. So going to local businesses in my area, working with connections that I had from the hospitality industry. We've been featured in some articles, and our main focus right now is working with students. So we have college reps at some campuses. Right now we have a Penn Stater and an Ohio State student getting geared up next week to start working on getting the word out. Because our goal now is, we previously tried to go to the universities and say, hey, we have this app. We want to get the students utilizing it. And I didn't even realize that it wasn't the mindset that I was even trying to do, because universities are used to their old ways. It's the same thing of a job post. The universities are the job posts, unfortunately, in some cases. I needed to get right to the students. So with the help of the students recently, and now coming up even more, we're going to get to them. Then we'll be in the palm of their hands. These same students are going to be working with local businesses nearby the campus to help get them staffed appropriately with those students. And really the buzz will just continue from there, because once the students are all using it, for the most part, the universities are going to see it. The companies are going to want to make sure that they have students coming from those locations. So again, a lot of organic things like that. A lot of phone calls, a lot of cold calls. The biggest thing that me and my team are doing is we're scavenging those job sites. Any company that's saying that they're hiring, we're giving them a call, because we're not against the other platforms out there. The near and dear, the typical ways, it's beneficial for you to be everywhere. We're not saying it's not beneficial to keep using them. You should be using as many platforms as possible. And we're just another tool to have in your back pocket, because you never know. It's really a numbers game. And that's been our biggest success thus far, trying to get, call around, ask, visit local companies, really just get out there any way that we can.
I love that. Because the organic way is how you create that mass swell till it's over adopted. You're getting them before they even enter the real work life balance. So as you grow, people are going to come on to it to find out where the young people are. And if you're already one of those big places, because you have this massive community of support, I love it. Oh my God. Have you seen a change, like your role as you're growing? Have you felt that you've been prepared for this type of role, like managing a company like RecruitMe, or are you feeling like you're flying by the seat of your pants?
Absolutely the latter. And I think it's the only way that anyone really can ever truly have a passion to do something like this. If you go into anything thinking I've got this all figured out, I think you're selling yourself short. And I think that's where your company won't be able to grow, unfortunately, because you kind of have to realize that there's more to learn. To your point, you're learning every day about podcasts. So I have no tech background whatsoever. And I'll be the first one to admit that. I mean, I was coming from hospitality. I had things thrown in my face 24/7 every day. I mean, there could be a car that went into the building. There could be, a flood, and the bride and groom are saying there are no suites in my weddings tonight. Like, there could be a multitude of things happening in one day. And since we had 11 properties, it was rare that all 11 were smooth sailing, right? So there was always something happening. So with that being said, I think that prepared me for being able to know whatever comes my way, even if I haven't dealt with it before, there will be a tomorrow. The sun will rise again. We'll get through it. I just have to figure out how. And with not having a tech background, working with a company, I worked with the App Kit, still work with them now, and others in the technology space to make sure that what I didn't know, those that did know, that knew better than I, could help fill in those gaps. And one, teach me, but also still be the person that I could go to. Because I think as an entrepreneur, you're never going to know everything. But you need to know who to go to in those moments when you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I love that. That's a great quote. And I'm definitely going to get that quoted up, because it's true. Like there's a mythos around the solopreneur doing everything themselves, but a lot of the time it's, I'm building this business by myself, but I'm asking so many people for help, and they're getting my mentor, you have mentors over here, so they're actually helping you build, so you're not really alone building it. How was it actually hiring people for your business? Did you, obviously you couldn't immediately use RecruitMe to hire for RecruitMe, because it wasn't even built yet, but how did you go about finding the right people to work with?
We've been outsourcing a lot. So some people have been friends and family that have been able to do this on the side as well and assist me. And in other cases, it's been having a virtual assistant. So hiring through finding people. There was a coach, her name's Camille Walker. She helped me find a virtual assistant that I've had for some time now named Becky. She's been fantastic. So it's, again, somewhat organically. I'm a big believer on my gut. And there's just something about connections, and when you connect with someone and you kind of just jive. I had been interviewing a couple people for a virtual assistant. This is just one example of people on the team. And she was the first person I interviewed, and I canceled the other interviews. It's just one of those things where you feel it, you feel the connection, and that really brings back to RecruitMe as well. Even though there's no real human aspect to it, we're trying to bring that human aspect to it from the phone. So that's really what I would say for myself of how the process has been. It's people who have a passion as well. If they have a passion for what we're doing, then that's obviously a huge selling point. People who've helped me with the bike company, which is what I first started, have also kind of transferred into the RecruitMe space. So it's a little bit of just, again, organic process as it continues.
Do you still have the snack company, or?
Yes.
So you're running two companies right now?
Yes, I am crazy. Yes. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
So what kind of struggles do you have running two companies? Because that are kind of vastly different, but still probably have some of the same problems.
It's interesting. It's a day to day. It's kind of one of those situations if you have like two bathtubs in your house and they're both overflowing with water at times. What kind of one of those situations where you're running back and forth to see what's going on. It's a lot of, I can joke, but it's a lot of realizing, what needs your time and when. And I will be the first one to say we are still, in some cases, especially with RecruitMe, more in the startup phase. It's still growing. It's still a baby. The bike company is much more established and sort of running on its own. And they each have times where they're running on their own. And perfect example was this. With RecruitMe, being that we were focusing so much on college students, when the college season just ended, when the semesters ended in May, really, our main focus switched to bike company. In the background, we were calling companies, but typically during the summertime, a lot of companies are they pull back on recruitment. They're not as focused on that. They're doing initiatives or they're doing, fun things for their employees. They're maybe not as focused on recruiting. September is usually when that frenzy kicks in. So this would be one of the bad case scenarios where school just started back up for the college students and it's a hiring frenzy. So now it's guns a-blazing for both sides. Not usually always the case. We can kind of go back and forth a little bit. The bike company has really been getting into wellness centers and fitness centers in like a snack gift shop area. So with something like that, I learned more so this year that a gym time frame when they're more subdued is really the summertime, because people are focused on their fitness going into the summertime. And they're focused on their fitness at the beginning of the year, but they kind of pull back on fitness in the summertime and even into the fall time frame. So that gave us the opportunity to focus on the bike company, get it into those fitness centers because they had time on their hands. Now they're going to have less time on their hands gearing up for the holiday season into the new year. So again, it's really just flipping back and forth depending on what I learn and what the world needs and what's going on.
But it's still a learning process, like you said. You're learning what works here and there, which I love, and you're getting lessons aplenty because you're understanding the recruitment process. So now when you go to the gym companies, you already understand when their high season and low season is, because oh my God, look at this. You're breaking into so many different sectors, each helping each other. From working both these companies, you must have hit some goals, created memories for yourself, or even for your customers, or even the people who use the app. Do you have a memory that you would like to share that just kind of like keeps you going on those days that sometimes are like, oh, I have to work again, even though it's your passion? Everybody gets those days, those dark days. Do you have a memory that just keeps you going?
There's a lot of memories, especially with the bike company, of late nights coming home because I was still working in the hospitality field when I started the bike company. Quick little connection there. When I originally started the bike company, it was beginning of 2020. So it was January 2020. So prior to COVID hitting. So the plan was I was going to be leaving my corporate role. Obviously, that did not happen. I only left in November of 2022. And it was a very interesting time to have started a business. Now, granted, a lot of entrepreneurs started a business during COVID, but that was when they established, hey, I'm going to start a business. This makes sense right now. Not started a business 3 months later. Oh, I have a business I need to now take care of. So it was obviously very interesting. But what was unique to me is I didn't think we were going to be solving some of the problems we were solving. I thought I was always on the road. My health was not necessarily where it needed to be. I was always coming home late eating. I didn't eat all day and then I was eating at night. I had a Starbucks in the morning and a Starbucks at night. I was not the picture of health. So I was trying to find healthy snacks that I could eat on the road. I thought that's all we were going to solve. Other people out there that are on the go needing to eat healthier. we were helping new moms who were breastfeeding and needed to make sure that they were taking care of what they were putting into their bodies. We were helping aunts and uncles send their nieces and nephews gifts that for the first time they felt like they actually got them something they loved because they have celiac disease, they have a peanut allergy, they have all these things, and they felt so bad that they never knew, they couldn't just bring over candy. So there are a lot of moments like that of either thank you emails we received, notes, things, even comments or posts on social media that we were like, wow, this is amazing. And that keeps me going. But I would say a memory that has nothing to do with either business, but was in my hospitality days that keeps me going as to why I started a business and why I keep going with business and solving any sort of issue out there, was a time that I was helping at the front desk. So in my role, I would visit properties. I would try to pop behind front desks or get in the thick of things and just witness what was going on. A big thing I would do is I would sit in the lobbies and just observe, which of course I think made everyone a little uneasy, but nonetheless, I just, I did myself on my laptop, tried to make it seem like I was blending in. And occasionally I come behind the front desk. And one time I was behind the front desk and I was watching an intern who was literally the picture of deer in headlights. I mean, you would have thought this girl was put there against her will. A couple checking in, they were trying to joke with her. And at the DoubleTree, this is the hotel, they do warm chocolate chip cookies at check-in. So the older gentleman says, oh, warm chocolate chip cookies, that's the best. Oh, that's just one thing that could go with that. And she's looking there like, deer in headlights. I don't even want to comment. I don't know what you're talking about. Just let me check you in.
Yeah.
Glass of milk, right? And she was like, yeah, glass of milk. Yeah, glass of milk. And I'm like, oh gosh. So they leave. I say to her, what would be fun to do now? Like, we have a restaurant right there. What would be a fun thing to do to play with these guests? I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, back and forth. I guess we could get them some milk. Absolutely, you could. She's thinking I'm crazy, right? Epitome of the look on her face is this is never going to work. They're going to think it's stupid. Sends up a glass of milk. They come down. You would have thought she gave them their firstborn. Like, I'm telling you, they were so appreciative. It was such a spark for her. And she was probably MVP of the team for that summertime. I mean, she did little things like that all the time. She sparked inspiration for others to do things like that. And it was a moment that stuck with me, watching someone realize that they had the power to really change someone else's day. I get chills. With a glass of milk, like something that cost us 20 cents probably to send up. And she literally changed their experience like no other. And I just, she still works in hospitality to this day. And it's moments like that that made me realize that I too had the power to help someone else with a passion and realize the power that they have within them.
Oh, I love that. That's a great story. Like that
20-cent
investment from her to this company, probably millions of dollars in revenue, because of course they're going to talk about it. Everybody's going to talk to someone and they're going to say, you have to go to this. Oh, that was and just done by you, just by trying to get her to think outside the box. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. It's very cool to watch those moments happen. There were so many of those moments. There was obviously very opposite moments. I mean, every time I was given a $20 bill as a tip and I cried from it. So, we all go through crazy things in hospitality.
I used to work in the restaurateur part of hospitality. So I understand the crazy stuff that can happen. I would love to know 10 years from now, we snap our fingers, we're 10 years in the future, Catarina, what are we doing? What are you doing?
Well, I hope that, as silly as it sounds, I've started some other businesses. My goal really is to, under the umbrella Matias Hospitality, that's what really is the parent company for both. Mm-hmm. But there are other companies. There's so many ideas that I have. I think I'm a little bit of a junkie with it, that I'm always like, oh, this would be cool. Oh, that would be cool. Let's do this. Let's do that. So I hope that there's a parent company having multiple businesses that I can allow others to really take over. And find their passion within it, and hopefully inspire and invest in other people looking to start their own businesses. So I can just get one step closer to that, having that in and just sitting back on a rocking chair and just enjoying the view. That's the goal. In 10 years, obviously not be there yet. No,
but like maybe starting to look for buying the properties, buying the properties so that you can get that one step closer, or at least looking for those properties. I love that. Oh, that is a good goal. I like that, investing in other people to run the companies so that you can go help more and more people. I love that. Now I want to get to the spark question, because we are coming up to the end of the episode, which I hate because I'm having so much fun talking with you, Catarina. I probably could spend another hour sharing stories about hospitality, wins and horror stories. But your 10-year-old self, what one piece of advice do you want to give your 10-year-old self?
So it's funny that you asked this question, because I had seen something a couple months ago about making sure, and this is a little embarrassing, but I have a picture.
Oh my God.
Myself. Now I think she's about 8 in this, meaning now I'm talking third person. That on my desk, because I had seen someone say put it on a mirror, put it in your face, at all times. And I realized that the only person you need to really, I guess, inspire or impress is your younger version of yourself. So with you asking this question, I think all that I would say is you can do it. For someone who was a kid that had such big aspirations, had such big goals, but didn't know she'd be able to do it, and was insecure and didn't necessarily have the confidence, just being able to say genuinely you can do it, and hopefully make that person believe it, make me believe it at a younger age. I wouldn't say that then all these things I could be doing if I'd only believed it sooner, but I think it would be beneficial to know that and be able to know what I know now and be like, oh wow. But everyone goes through the process you're supposed to go through, right? You're supposed to find the confidence along the way, stumble upon it. But that's definitely what I would say. Cheesy and simple, but I definitely say having a picture of yourself on your desk is a little weird, but it reminds you on those days where you're, like you said, oh, I have to work again, or you're overwhelmed. At the end of the day, if that person knew all that you've accomplished, they would be so proud.
Oh, I love that. And that kind of gave me chills too. So thank you for that. Catarina, I'm going to jump off screen here. I'm going to let you take the last little bit. Tell my audience where they can find you, follow you, how they can either purchase some good healthy snacks for people they love or for themselves, or also just look at RecruitMe and see if it's a mold for them. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It really has been a pleasure. So with The Bite Company, our website is www.thebitecompany.com. You will see that just recently we changed to our market format. So you can go ahead and you can pick from our tried and true favorite snacks, build your own box, or you can choose from some of our pre-made boxes. We have things like a business box, maybe for a CEO out there or someone who's traveling on the go. That way they can get a nice gift in their hotel room. We also have a new box that's launching on Friday, a mama box. So if you have a mom out there you want to appreciate, whether it be a new mom or a mom with maybe her 5th or 6th baby, a great gift to give them, to tell them that you're thinking of them. You'll see that all on our website. Follow us on Instagram and all social media platforms. With RecruitMe, the app is available in the App Store and the Google Play Store, so be able to download it today. You make your profile from there as an employee looking. You'll wait to hear from companies. If they reach out to you, if they try to connect, you'll have the ability to either accept or decline that connection. So you really are in the driver's seat of your own recruitment process. Don't be discouraged if you're not hearing from a company right away. It's just waiting for the right company to contact you. And if you're a company looking, be in contact with us either by downloading the app, or you can visit our website as well, www.recruitme-app.com, and find out the multitude of ways that we can help you further your recruitment process.
I love it. I love it. Catarina, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us and telling us about your journey and a bit about your business and the problems it solved. It was a pleasure talking with you.
You as well. Thank you so much for having me. It was a true honor.
The pleasure was mine, and the honor is mine as well. But to my audience, make sure you check out the show notes down below. You'll find all the links to connect with Catarina, Bite Me, and RecruitMe, so that you can choose from whatever one you want to follow. And I want to thank you all for listening, and Catarina again for being on the show. Remember to always invest in yourself.